program. Okay, so now I'm breaking here. And if I try to do F10, you will see the execution. I mean, it's not the way I expected. It went from one line to another, and it will happen. Okay, I will not continue on that. Okay, how do you debug parallel programs in that case? You have a new debugging tools for parallel programs, which is, I will go and execute again my program. And here, you can see in the bottom, I have something called parallel tasks. Okay? What does this parallel tasks mean? Tasks window. Give me full control over my tasks. So what I can do is that if you see the yellow arrow here, this indicates that this is the current thread I'm break on. Okay? This is the thread where I put the break on. It has now the execution. Everything else is waiting. What I can do is that I can right click on my thread and say freeze all threads but this. When I do this, when I say freeze all threads but this, all other threads will be stopped, not stopped, will be paused, will be freezed. Okay? Then I can continue debugging without being interrupted. Okay? So I want the normal. Once I finish, another threads will kick in. So this is the first enhancement. Final demo. Promise. It's about deadlocks. So this is a program. Have a quick look at the code. And this is a classical example of a bank example where I transfer money from one account to another. One account should be credited, another account should have a debit, something like this, banking stuff. So I'm using the parallel.info, which I told you about, and I'm calling the transfer method twice. However, one time the first parameter is A, second parameter is B. Second time the first parameter is B, second parameter is A. Okay? And what's happening here is that I said synchronize, right? But synchronization can bite you, right? Because here I'm doing locks. I want to synchronize. This code will lead to deadlocks. Because what is deadlock? Let me go back quickly to the slides. Deadlock is about okay. So deadlocks is about a case when you have two resources. Thread A, first thread locks resource A. Second thread locks resource B. And thread A cannot leave resource A without getting B. And thread 2 cannot release thread resource B without getting A. Did I say anything right? you got the point. Okay? So this happens. Okay, it happens in life. Deadlocks happens. I'm hungry. Okay. So I will go here, and I'm using this code now, and now it will cause a deadlock. I'm using a Microsoft code which is something called watch deadlock. It will wait until a deadlock happens, and it will break my code. So start. The code will execute. The debugger will break. This is a Microsoft code. And let's look again at my parallel tasks one. It's telling me that two threads have caused a deadlock. And if you can see great information here, if I hover here, it will tell me that, okay, so it will tell me object of type bank account is owned by thread 13428. If you can see, thread 13428 is the second one. And if I hover on the second one, it will tell me the same resource or another resource causing the deadlock is owned by thread 12740, which is the previous thread. Okay, so it called the deadlock for me. It gave me the reason why is deadlock happening. And I have another help, which is another window, which is called parallel stacks. And here I can see how threads are happening. I mean, I started with 6 threads that distributed to my program. So it's explaining for me the threads, the deadlocks. Sorry. How do you avoid deadlocks? Don't do deadlocks. There's no other way. Write your code in a way not to cause deadlocks. I have a summary page. Forget about the summary page. That's what I have. As I said, if you have any more questions during this period or after this period during the SQL sessions, we will be there. We can discuss anything more. Okay, thank you. Yes, now the gathering lunch, and here we will have the funds model. We will install the wheel, and that's based on games. Of course, the games have another separate level.
ما ادري ما انتبهت لها اخيرا.
انا قاعد فاتح جوالي سجلت شوي.
ايه الاخبار؟ بس شو اسمه